Hey everybody, welcome to today's episode of Staggy Fish. Today I have a little bit different video planned for you guys. So after I moved up here to Montana, to Malmstrom Air Force Base, a lot of people, they want to learn how to fish, and when they see people who fish a lot or have a lot more knowledge about fishing, they ask me all the time, like how they can get started fishing, like where to go, what to use, stuff like that, because there's a lot of fishing opportunities up here in Montana, and they just want to know where to start. And a lot of times, like as you can see, I have basically a tackle store behind me almost, and I have some gear that's some pretty high dollar equipment. Like some of my reels are over $200. I have rods over $200, stuff like that. And it's harder to relate that to people who are brand new to fishing because they don't see the value in higher quality equipment, at least not when they're starting out. And another reason I want to make this video is when you're just getting started out with something, you don't want to spend $400 and then realize you don't even like it, and you can't really get your money back or just a portion of it back. So pretty much what I've done is I went to Walmart and Scheels. That's where I got the majority of all this stuff, and I tried to see if I could get like a pretty good package set up for somebody to get started fishing for less than $100. And I was pretty proud of myself. I got all this on the table, you can see, for $97. And that $97 includes the rod, reel, little tackle box, stuff to get started trout fishing, and some bass fishing stuff, as long as some bobbers, hooks, and worms and stuff. But I'm not going to get started with the $100 thing. First, I'm going to show you guys the rod and reel. So I found this at Scheels. It's a Daiwa D-Shock. It's a 6'6" rod. It's a two-piece, so you can travel with it, put it in your car easily. It has a reel on it, about a 2500 series reel. It's not very fancy at all, but I'm actually pretty surprised with how smooth this thing is, because this whole rod and reel combo was $20. So that is super cheap when you're talking about rods and reels and stuff like that. The rod didn't come with line on it, so I went ahead and bought some Stren Original monofilament. Normally I would go with like a 4 or a 6 pound test. Usually like 6 pounds is kind of good middle of the road. Especially if you're just doing trout fishing, I would more lean towards the 4 or the 6 pound line. But because I want to also use this potentially to catch some bass, which can be a little bit bigger and pull a little harder, there's more cover for your line to get wrapped around, I went ahead and bought some 8 pound monofilament line. So this was $6, pretty cheap. And when I was at Walmart after I bought that line, I actually saw Ozark Trail actually makes a lot of new fishing stuff now, and they had line that was like $2. So maybe I'll try that in the future just to see if it even really works, because I don't really like to skimp out on my line because it's your connection to the fish pretty much. So then I also bought this Ozark Trail little tackle box to put all these baits in. It's got dividers all up in it, and really I bought this one because it actually matches my kayak color. So that was pretty cool. So now that I've shown you the rod and reel and the line, that's going to be included in like pretty much all these kind of packages that I'm going to go over, the way I have it split up. So we'll start. This is like the easiest, cheapest way to get started. So this rod, reel, tackle box, rod and reel $20, line $6, so you got $26. And really you don't need the tackle box, but I've got 2 little packs. I've got size 4 and a size 6, because I'd almost drop them. Anyway, size 4, also a size 6. So these size 4s are probably going to be better for a little bit bigger fish. Those 6s would be really good if you're trying to catch some bluegill. And to go with those, I bought this little pack of weights. This thing, I believe, was $5. Whole bunch of different sizes of weights to you just squeeze them on your line, so you can get it down to the bottom, or put it underneath the bobber if you want it to hang down or sink faster, or just be able to throw it, cast farther. And then I also added this little bobber pack. They've got weights on the bottom, and let's see, I didn't add that in there. honestly, that's all you need to get started fishing is rod and reel, line, hooks, some little bobbers. Those bobbers were $1.36, and like just go to the gas station, buy a pack of worms. So all that, not including the worms, including the box, would be $37 pretty much. So that's super cheap to get started. And honestly, I've caught some of my biggest fish on a bobber and a worm. When I came up here to Montana, I caught, it was I'll put the picture of it here. I didn't actually get a measurement on it, but it was a giant. It was the biggest one I've caught in Montana. It was probably at least 5 pounds. I don't know. It was very long. And also, the most recent state record largemouth bass, it just got broke, I think, 2 months ago down in Billings. He caught it on a bobber and a worm. So sometimes I feel like I'm just trying too hard, and I just need to go back to the basics. And my goal tomorrow is to actually get this stuff all set up tomorrow and hopefully take it out and catch some fish. That's going to be a separate video. Just kind of, prove that just for less than $40, you can go out and catch some fish. Have a nice, fun day on the water. Now, next I'm going to move on to just some trout, some like real basic trout fishing stuff for like lakes, maybe a river. I'll get started by showing you guys. I've got Cast Masters. Caught a lot of trout on these. These are some, 1/4 ounce ones, silver and gold. And I also added 2 smaller silver and gold ones in the 1/8 ounce. And this is probably one of my favorite trout lures, is a pink rooster tail. I have slayed the fish on this. I've caught bluegill, crappie, even some bass on one of these. So you kind of add that to the bass category if you really wanted to. And I also added to this just a little bit of pink power bait. So I've got bass, bluegill, crappie, catfish, trout. It's more targeted towards trout, but that stuff's pretty cheap. I think it's like $3-4. But that's just so if you want to keep it simple with like the bobber and the worm type setup, but you don't want to mess with worms. That's another really good option. So for all this trout stuff right here was $17.36. So if you add that to just the beginning stuff, that's what, about $54, I think. So if you want to get started, bobber, worm, just chasing trout, $54, you can definitely get there. Even less, really, you don't need to buy one of each of these. But I just wanted to, just for fun. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but there's about 1,000 birds outside my garage right now. So if you guys can't hear me, I apologize. But so moving on. Now I'm going to move into just some real basic bass fishing stuff. So I'm going to start talking about these little chatterbaits here. I got 2 Z-Man, just the original chatterbaits. These are both $5 a piece. So, I mean, you don't have to buy both, but it's always good to have multiple colors and stuff to, sometimes the bass are feeding on different things. So this is one of my favorite colors. It's more of like, I think they call this is a perch color. It's more like a dark, earthy color. And then this one, obviously white for like shad, stuff like that. I've got some offset EWG hooks for these Super Flukes. Super Flukes, super cheap. They're like $3 a pack, if that. And then I also got some Finesse, some Ned Rig jig heads. These are 1/6 ounce, just black. So I bought those to pair with these Guggen bait rattling Neds. So I've caught a lot of fish on these. Even some saltwater fish, reds and trout will eat these. They're pretty good. And one of the reasons I picked the Ned Rig was it's just super simple to work, and all you need is a little jig head, pack of Ned Rigs, and you can catch smallmouth bass, largemouth bass, probably other things too. I've caught redfish, trout with them in the saltwater as well. I also bought a pack of Kraken Craws. These are the Bama Bug color. These are my favorite ones if you guys have seen any of my other videos. So I bought these for 2 things. I bought them as trailers for this chatterbait. So the craws will be sticking out the back, flapping while you're reeling it in. And then also when I was at Walmart, they have these really cool kits now. Also not super fancy or anything, but it's definitely enough to get started. So it's a must-add Texas rig kit. So depending on your location, the Texas rig is super popular bass fishing. And this comes with 3 hooks, I believe 3 different weights, some weight stops, and little glass beads. And this little pack was less than $3. So for $3, now Guggen bait packs, they're a little more expensive. They're between $5 and $6. Kind of depends on where you get them, but normally they're about $6. But so one of these on a Texas rig. Definitely seen a lot of people catch fish with that. I don't really Texas rig fish that much, but it's very popular. And next I'll show you guys about these Zoom flukes. I would pair those with these offset hooks. So basically you would, I mean, it's almost like Texas rigging. I know I didn't take any of the other ones out to show you guys, but just for fun, I'll show you guys how I would do this so it makes sense if you decide to buy these. Hopefully I bought the right size. So hopefully you guys can see, but you pretty much just take the hook, pop it through the nose, and then you just kind of have it like this. You find out where the hook would go through, push it through the body, and I'm sure you guys can see, but just something like that. So this is like real super lightweight. Caught a lot of bass on these, other species of fish as well. But it's just a real simple little rig right there. All right, and then the last thing I got for the bass side was a pack of 3.3-inch Guggen bait saucy swimmers. These were $6 again. They are a little more pricey for the Guggen baits than say Zoom. So I mean, Zoom makes stuff like this also. Strike King as well. Strike Kings are about the same price though. But Zoom makes them. But anyway, I bought these Guggen bait saucy swimmers to put on the back of this chatterbait. You know, kind of keeps that shad, small bait fish pattern going. And another thing you could do with the saucy swimmers is you could use one of these jig heads in a pinch, but you could also just buy like another little 3/8 ounce or maybe probably a 1/4 ounce jig head and just put the jig head into the saucy swimmer and use it as just a jig without the chatterbait on it. That's another option. And I do get a little bit more excited about bass fishing, so I kind of bought a little bit more bass fishing stuff. But there's also a larger variety of bass fishing stuff than some of this trout fishing stuff. So all the bass stuff together was $43.54. So if you add that to the $37 of just the starting stuff, that's about $80. But I mean, if you really just wanted to get the rod and then just the line and then that stuff, you know, you'd probably be looking around $60. So now that I've kind of gone over everything, if you add it all up, it comes out to $97. So for less than $100, you can get yourself a rod, reel, line, hooks, bobbers, enough baits and lures to target trout, panfish, bass, really all kinds of species, for less than $100. And I think that's a really, really good deal. I really wanted to do this because I realized that not everybody has a ton of money to get started fishing, and I wanted to show that for a relatively cheap amount, you can get started and get some decent lures and hopefully go catch some fish. And like always, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope if you're brand new to fishing or wanting to start out that this is going to help you. If you guys have any questions, just leave them down in the comments. I'll try my best to get back to you. And be on the lookout for more videos coming here soon using all this stuff. Tomorrow, I'm actually pretty excited. I'm gonna string it up. I'm gonna go with the bobber and the worm for the first video and see how well we can do. You know, it's one of the most fun ways to fish. There's not really too much technique involved with it. You just cast it out and wait. You need some patience, and that's about it. So like I said, tomorrow I'm going to get this thing all spooled up and actually go out. I'm going to start with the bobber and the worm. That's one of my favorite ways to just relax and fish because it doesn't take a whole lot of effort. You just kind of cast it out there. All you really need is some patience and hopefully some willing fish. But look forward to the next videos, guys, and thanks for watching. See you next time.